Welcome back to ReZero Anime Review, episode number 71. We are here reviewing the 63rd episode of the series, Commend of a Warrior. Yeah, this is one of those times where Crunchyroll had a different name for this episode, so it's words combination. So, basically, this episode, it is adapted from when I started reading the book. It adapts from the beginning of the prologue, the beginning of chapter 1, the entirety of chapter 3, and the opening page of chapter 4. You're like, wow, that covers a lot of material. Here's what happens. So, we begin right where we left off last episode, where Garfield is getting out of this goop that the fake Archbishop of Lust basically put him in. And then he finds Gorgon, and he basically is fighting him the whole episode. And then, well, he's in his tiger form, which I believe that's the first time, like, last episode was the first time he ever assumed that. That's not like an alternate timeline, like, because in this series, no, doing. He fights it for a while. We have a flashback episode of explaining about this guy, Krogan, the 8-armed man. He's from the Volstagg Empire, which is something they actually do explore in the current arc of the light novels. Starting with volume 26, they actually go there. So, basically, you could say this is a reference particular thing and a loose, tiny bit of a setup for that particular arc. But it will not happen next arc, it will happen 2 arcs in this one. Yes, and it mentions about these things called the Devil Cavaliers, these swords that he has, and if he summons all 4 of them, it means he's earned his respect. He's worthy as an opponent. And you see him at first, he only has like 1 sword. He even basically bites part of the blade off of the episode. Yep, but meanwhile, while this is going on, we see Al take on the Archbishop of Lust, cuts her up. First, it was disgusting, and then at one point, she proceeds to shapeshift into Priscilla, Al's hot boss. And it's like, ooh, look at this hot princess. And he's like, knock it off. And he proceeds to chop her head off and then slice up her body. And that still doesn't kill her because she forms the whole frickin' body. You're like, what? Yes. And then we come back to the fight between Garfield. We even have him fighting those little creatures. Apparently, like, Echidna is like, oh, those things used to be human. And then, of course, Greg is like, he just kills them, no problem. And they brawl for a while. And, of course, they go underwater. And then they just happen to go through a wall. And just by sheer coincidence, he just happens to end up in a shelter. And then 2 people happen to be there, not just his in this town, but his younger half brother and half sister, just by sheer coincidence. And I'm like, it's Gorgeous Tiger. That was his nickname, basically gave them. And then of course, basically the creatures show up, and of course, they're one of them is killed. And then Kruggy, being a decent person, proceeds to stop the leak of the water into the shelter, which is apparently got almost like an ankle deep water. And I at least got appreciate him doing that because no one somebody him wouldn't care, but he probably felt as though, yeah, I probably should not drown while I'm trying to fight him. And then Garfield introduced him as Gorgeous Tiger. Garfield attends on, of course, looking after his brother and sister, and then he proceeds to, and then of course, Kurt, let me take his name here. Kurgan proceeds to take out. But before this, we have that creature pops in who basically poses Echidna, you know, the woman who died last season of the show, and he just kills like, you're not real, you're dead, goodbye. And Krogan sees the fact, basically, he has earned his worthiness as a fighter, takes out his swords, and it's a massive fight between the 2 of them. Everyone's like cheering, like, Gorgeous Tiger, Gorgeous Tiger. They cheer for a bit, and of course, they see this action, like, wow, this is so good. And eventually, he beats him. And then, of course, Kurgan says his only line the whole episode. He says, "Well done," and then he disintegrates right there in the spy. So probably Garfield probably earned his swords. What's going to happen to his swords? Who knows? We'll find out and see. Meanwhile, though, we see Wilhelm is up to. You see, he's basically finding his wife. Talk about how beautiful she is. It's actually from chapter 1, mind you. The whole fight between Garfield and Krogan, that's all from chapter 3. A lot of it, that is. But an excellent... Oh, by the way, there's one more thing here. They pick up a fight... They pick up a little storyline about 2 episodes ago where Otto is face-to-face with one of the Archers of Gluttony. And it's like, oh, you interrupt me talking. And he summons basically these water dragons who basically go over there. And of course, basically, Otto holds them off while Felt basically goes against a particular object, which they say to some miasma person. And in the book, it's actually who it is. Which I get probably the reason why the anime didn't say who it is, because they want to spoil the surprise. Which good on them for doing that. And then, of course, then the Archbishop Gluttony comes back. Yes, Lyle, he comes back and basically says, "You think I'll kill me?" And it's like, okay. What now? Who knows? Yeah, it's interesting though the fact that we have like 4 fights the whole episode, because we have Garfield versus Krogan. We have Al versus Capella. Wilhelm versus Risa. And Otto versus Lyle. 4 fights. And only 1 gets killed in this episode. Yep. So my guess is next week we're going to see Wilhelm versus Teresa. And here's kind of an interesting thing though. Actually, Teresa got a light novel which focuses on their love story. Yes, the 3rd of these extra books. And just by sheer coincidence, I don't know why this is, where they pretty much basically give his wife the same face on both covers. Not sure why, and both feel like the same length. Yeah, I don't get it. It's weird. Yeah, something I read in the future, but I will be reviewing when I get a chance. And with this episode also, we have about 3 more to go for the whole entire season. Yep, 3 more to go, and that's it. Yep. So yeah, great episode. Looking forward to the next episode, which air next week. And yes, now since Izuran Dungeon has officially wrapped up, now basically Wednesday's back to just doing just 1 anime for about a few more weeks, and then Wednesday will be free. There are several anime premiering next month. You have My Hero Academia Vigilantes. I'm going to wait for the dub for them. I'm sure it's going to be a dub because, well, there has to be. Okay, so I'm also going to be starting, basically, when it comes out, which is about a month from now. It's going to be I'm the Evil Lord of Intergalactic Empire. I read that first book. I'm like, ooh, I'm looking forward to the anime. Yes. The other... How should I put this? The other anime confirmed next month. I know that One Piece coming out next month. I know that Konosuba has come up, that they have an OVA coming next month. And I have heard it's been confirmed. We're getting up. Actually, I'll basically say that when OVA comes out, because I'm quite happy with that announcement when it comes to Konosuba. We have a lot of stuff coming up here, so take immerse my voice for a bit, and then I'm going to come back to talk about 2 comic corners. And these are going to be interesting. Okay? Next video. Bye.